Welcome to day one of the 12 Days of Christmas series for 2020. And once again, Rosa Kelly of Rosa Kelly Scrapbooking has put this series together, and she has invited Robyn Pitts, who is her Chauncey Rocco Creative Designs, and Deborah Adams, Creative Life, and myself, Michelle Randolph, Shabby Chic Chick, to be a part of it this year. So I'm super excited. I love holiday crafting of any holiday. And so Christmas, this has been so much fun preparing and trying to come up with some new ideas. We are also having giveaways on each of our channels, so make sure that you check each channel, which I'll have our channel links in the description box below so you can check them out. And the rules for my giveaway are: you must be 18 years or older, you must be a subscriber to all of the channels, you must give a thumbs up on each video, as well as leave a comment daily. The winner will be selected randomly from one of the 12 videos that we will be sharing for my channel. And check out the other ladies' giveaway rules because they could vary slightly. And what I have created for day one is this 12-day advent calendar. And this is a design team for ASC Craft Supplies. I'll leave links to their stores in the description box below, as well as my coupon code is Michelle10 for 10% off. And I have been so excited about this. I finished this project up in the end of October and did a sneak peek for a Facebook group that I'm an admin in. So I asked the ladies that were participating if they would mind holding off on sharing so I could wait and share it with you all first. And I did use the Mintay Winterland Paper Collection. It is a beautiful paper collection, and I love cardinals, the little bit of rusticness that it has with the wood in the background, and they have these adorable snow people. So I love this collection. I was very happy with how this project came out, and I did use a lot of distress dry glitter in rock candy to do the snow, and I did use pop dots to give some dimension to the snowflakes, the star, and the birds, the skis, and the mittens, and the sled, and this one snowman, just to give it some dimension. So I think you can see it when I tilt it like that. It's hard to see on camera, but in person, you know, you can tell that things have the varying dimension. This is the front. I love how it came out, and I did add some little gemstones. The Merry Christmas I actually cut out with my Cameo. I thought it did a great job for such a fine detail. And on the side, I did make some poinsettias. I was inspired by my friend Jen, and I just put parts of a spray in here and some of this greenery, and use little frills for the centers. And I did put a little bit of red glitter on the white ones just to make the white centers stand out. And I used this really pretty plaid paper on the side. And on the background, I do have a flourish with a snowflake in the middle that I cut out with my Silhouette Cameo. And on the back, I did use this really pretty patterned sweater paper. And I forgot to mention that I did use the Recollections Rose Gold paper on the front, the back, and the side, just for a little bit of shimmer. And when you open it up like so, we have 12 boxes, and some of them are a little full, so I have it stuffed. And this right here is what I had on the spine on the outside, and I also chose to put one here. And then on the outside, I thought I would go ahead and add some flowers since I didn't want to cover any of the scene up in the front. I'm not going to open any of the boxes up today, so I'm hoping that you come back tomorrow to see what I have put inside. But I love the scenes on the paper. I just love the barn once again, and I've just used lots and lots of glitter all along the scenes. And then I just used some of the scraps papers to cover up my boxes. If you'll stay tuned, I do have a tutorial. These are the measurements for the advent calendar that I created. You can make the outside cover out of chipboard or 110-pound cardstock. If you use chipboard, you'll need two 8.5 by 8.5 pieces and one 8.5 by 4-inch piece. And the 110-pound cardstock tube 8.5 by 8.5, and one 5 by 8.5, and you'll score at 1/2 inch on the 5-inch side, so you can attach the 5 by 8.5 to the front and back covers. And the large boxes, as you can see, are the bottoms are 7 1/4 by 10 7/8, and the lid is 7 3/8 by 11. The medium boxes are 6 1/2 by 7 1/8, and the lid or top is 6 5/8 by 7 1/4. You'll need 2 of each of these for the large and medium, and the small ones you'll need 8 of each. 5 by 5.5 for the bottom, and the top 5 1/8 by 5 5/8. And then we're going to score all at 1 3/4 inch on all 4 sides. And I will show you one of each box. We'll do our front and back cover, and we will score our spine. And so we want a 1/2 inch, like a 1/2 inch, to attach this to the front and back covers. So I'm just going to set that aside, and we'll do all of our scoring. So here's the small box, and we're going to score it at 1 3/4 on all 4 sides. And I just go ahead and I just rotate it 1/4 of a turn instead of having to try to figure out how much that would be. I just know it's going to be correct if I do it this way. So that's the bottom, and the top is 5 1/8 by 5 5/8, and we'll just score it at 1 3/4 on all 4 sides like we did the top. And I'm just going to do that to all of the box pieces. So this one's 6 1/2 by 7 1/8. Whoops, it did jump a little bit there, so be careful. It's the bigger end. There we go. And this one is 6 5/8 by 7 1/4. These are our large box pieces. So this one is 7 1/4 by 10 7/8. And we're scoring at 1 3/4. And the last one is 7 3/8 by 11. Okay, of course you'll need to do all of yours. I just wanted to show you how, just go ahead and show you one of each size of the boxes. And now we need to cut along our score line so we're able to fold the box up. And first, let's score these, then we'll cut them. So we'll just go around. So now we have all of our pieces scored, and I need to cut the sides on the score line. So I'm just going to cut along the score line till we meet that score line. And this is how we're going to make our base. And then I like to cut a little bit, notch it just a little bit, so when we're putting it together we can get it, try to get it really even along the top. And do the same thing to this side. And on the smaller boxes, you will need to trim a little bit off. So we've got our notches cut, and we'll need to trim. See how it goes past the score line? So we need to trim just a little bit off. And on the larger boxes, you don't need to, so we're just going to trim a little bit off these. Okay. And I'll show you how to put this one together. Fold that back and put glue on these two flaps. Make sure you get it to the edge. And I am using art glitter glue. Whoops. Just going to line these up like so. And I do like to take my bone folder and crease it. And we're going to put glue on the two tabs again. So that's, let's see here, this is the bottom of the box. And we're going to do the same thing to the top. Those are how those two fit together. And make sure before you put them together, let them dry, because I don't want them to stick together if there's any glue. And so this is the medium-sized box, and we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to cut along this score line and then notch it. Whoops, maybe. And do that to all four sides. And this one, we do not need to trim any of the tabs off because they are not too long for the box. And so these, I like to put glue on the tabs and then fold it up like so. We're going to do the same thing to the top as we did the bottom. Just cut along the score lines and notch them out. And now I'm just going to glue the tabs in like so. It's on like so. Show the edge. There's that. And now for the large box, just going to trim and notch all four of the corners. When you are cutting these pieces here, I like to do the same place on both ends so it's uniform when I close the box up, so it matches, you know, each end folds in, there's a tab on each side. That's just, you know, something I like to do it that way. And we'll just glue the tabs and attach them. The same thing to the lid. This is the 7 1/4 by 10 7/8. So I'm sorry, this is the bottom. And just cutting along the score line and notching. And now we're just going to glue the tabs together. Okay, so remember, you'll need to make 2 of the large boxes, 2 of the medium-sized boxes, and you will need 8 of the small boxes for the 12 days. So the next thing I'll show you how to do is put the 110-pound cardstock cover together. So I want to score this really well. And if you use the 110-pound cardstock, you may need to glue 2 pieces of it together, and you're going to want to make sure to put a layer of decorative paper to make sure it's sturdy. Just depending on how thick your decorative paper is, you may need to do 2 layers of 110 pound. So you're going to want to put decorative paper on the front or the outside as well as the inside of the covers to make sure they're good and sturdy. So we'll just put some glue. I'm going to put it along the edge here where we've made our 1/2 inch score mark. Oops, my hand's shaking. Ah, there we go. So put that there, and then we'll just line this up against the score line, making sure I have it centered. That looks good. And so I've got it, you can see the score line there, and I've just lined that up, and we will do the same thing to the other side. Centering it, and there you go. So this is the outside cover, and it does become fairly sturdy when you add your boxes on. This is my prototype, so it's kind of, I have stuff written all over it, but it makes it pretty sturdy. And then if you put the decorative paper on the inside and on the back, it should really help it out. And like I said, if you have a thinner decorative paper, you might want to put 2 layers of the 110-pound cardstock, but it does, you know, it's pretty sturdy for just cardstock. So I'm going to lay this to the side and bring in the chipboard. I have 2 12 by 12 pieces, and I'm going to adhere them with 1/4 inch score tape. Just going to overlap this like so, and just run this over. And make sure my seam is in the middle of my spine, because you do not ever want your seam to be like in between your spacing. And what I'm going to do is go around the outside edge of each piece of chipboard. We'll put a little bit of our glitter glue in the middle. I'm just going to center this between the top and bottom and put the seam, you know, as close in the middle as I can. Okay, that looks good. And just go like this, make sure it's adhered. And I like to use a shim to do my spacing, and this is just 2 pieces of chipboard put together, and that'll help it fold. And I'm going to put score tape around the outside edge of both of the 8.5 by 11 pieces. So I'm going to put glue, bring my shim in, and I just want to make sure I line this up like so. That looks good. Okay, and now I'm going to put glue on the other side. Bring the shim back in. I'm lining it up here along the bottom. Okay, there we go. So there's that. And like I said, the shim is just 2 pieces of the chipboard I'm using for my covers glued together, and it just comes in handy. It's just easier that way. I get a nice even seam. And now I want to miter my corners. Just want to come in like this and leave a little bit so we can wrap the corner. And I'm going to do that to all 4 sides. I'm going to take my bone folder and just kind of crease the paper along the edge. Just to help break the fibers down. Just kind of train it to go up and around. This will help prevent it from cracking. And this is 3/8 inch score tape, and I'm going to put it along the edge so it will grab really well. And then we'll put glue in between here and fold it over. And then we'll also need to fold this just to get it going so it makes a nice gradually work the paper. That looks good. I'm going to fold these over, and I'm going to fold the top and the bottom. Okay. Put some glue. Work this up like so. And just gradually crease in, and you can see with that nice spacing we don't get any cracking, which is really nice. And we will do the other side. What we're going to do is fold our corner pieces over just a little bit like so, and this way we won't have any chipboard show through. And there's just a little piece sticking out right there. Just trim it off. And then we're just going to fold this over like so. And it gives us nice, neat corners. And put some glue along. And then the score tape will grab, and that will allow the glue to dry and really hold it in place. So this is our outside of our advent calendar. Now I have 2 pieces that are 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and another piece that is 8 inches by 8 1/4 that we're going to cover our spine with. And it's just going to go in the middle here. I am going to put the 1/4 inch score tape all around the edge of the spine piece. Some glue in the center of this piece, between the top and the bottom, and the center of my spine. And I like to kind of hold it up and work my way into the crease here. For me, it just seems to work better. And kind of work it like so. Seems like it's going to work pretty well. So, okay, now we'll do this side. This, isn't going to have any pressure points. I'm not going to put the score tape, and then these will just glue down. Glue this piece down. So there's our completed book, and this will hold our boxes. So I have cut out some decorative paper that is 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and the spine piece is 3 7/8 by 8 1/4 tall. And I'm just going to glue these down, and I will use my art glitter glue. and you just want to make sure you get to the edge so it adheres really well. So now we're going to bring our boxes in, and I am going to put mine like this right here, and then the 4 here. I am just going to glue them down like so. So I think I'm going to start with this larger one, and just going to put glue on the bottom of it. I'm going to turn it like this so I can make sure it is even along this edge. There. Now we'll take the top off, just so it's a little bit easier to manage. And that looks good. Bring our ruler in, and that is about 5/8 an inch, and it's 4/8. I'll scoot it down just a little bit. There we go. That looks even. So I'm going to take my scraper here and just make sure that glue is really adhered. And that looks good. And I'll put the lid back on since it's a little bit bigger. So when we're lining these up, and this one may have to go just a little bit higher than that one, just to allow enough room for the boxes here. And I'll put glue on the bottom. And for this smaller one, I'm just going to hold the box together and put it down. And I'm not going to push it down yet. I'm just going to put the glue and then put my other pieces here. And let's do this top one, and then we'll fill in the bottom two. Okay. Let's scoot this one down just a little bit. Just a little right there, and turn it right straight. Just looking to make sure I have it even, and that looks good. So I'll take the tops off and use my bone folder and adhere them to our other 2 boxes down. That's the first side, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, but you can configure these, you know, different ways. If you wanted to do it, you know, this way, you could, or like this, turn them the long ways. So you could even do them like this, or, you know, however you want, just as long as you get the 6 boxes on each side, or all 12 boxes, you know, in your book. So I am going to start with the large box again. Just easier for me. And I'm just going to place it down and then line it up to where it's centered. Okay, that looks pretty even. I am going to measure again, and it's like between 1/2 inch and 5/8, and 1/2 inch and 5/8, and then on the side it is about 3/8 of an inch over. Scoot it over just a little bit. Okay, and before I push it all the way down, I'm going to close it and make sure they're lining up pretty close. And now I'm just going to finish mirror image gluing all of the boxes down like so. there's our boxes on the inside. So I have cut out my decorative paper and inked it in the Distress Ink Festive Berries. I went ahead and did red since my background was red, and I just think it, you know, I can't see the edge of the paper that way. So the large ones are 3 3/4 by 7 3/8, and the medium are 3 5/8 by 3, and the smaller ones are 1 3/4 by 2. I'm going to glue this down and I will be back. Okay, so I have cut the side pieces for the boxes, and for the large box on the sides, it's 1 5/8 by 7 3/8, and you'll need 4 of those. And for the top and bottom, you're going to need 4 pieces that are 1 5/8 by 3 3/4, and for the medium box, you're going to need 4 pieces that are 1 5/8 by 3 5/8, and 4 pieces that are 1 5/8 by 3. And for the little boxes, you're going to need 16 pieces that are 1 5/8 by 2, and 16 pieces that are 1 5/8 by 1 1/2. Now I'm just going to glue all of the side pieces to my boxes, and I did ink the edges. Thanks for watching, and make sure to check out the other ladies. I'll leave all of their links in the description box below. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.